Comrades, the year 2020 would forever be etched in our memory as it has impacted the world in ways never imagined. The COVID-19 pandemic has forced many of us to change cultural norms and social practices. We continue to see a rise in the global death toll, and the economies of many countries have been shaken. We have all had to make some serious adjustments in our work and family lives. Teaching has moved from the physical to the virtual classroom and has emphasized the inequities in our society. Many children have been unable to fully access online education, and the outcomes and impact of this paradigm shift will be seen in the coming years. The new term will bring a number of challenges, and TTUTA has been working assiduously to develop a response to the Ministry of Education's proposal for the opening of the new school term in January 2021. This end-of-year review is just to highlight to members some pertinent issues that have engaged the attention of the Union during the past year, issues that have mainly affected the terms and conditions of educators. The Teachers Center. The Teachers Center was opened with much fanfare in October 2019, but when I took office in November 1st, it was discovered that the building was far from finished. The new executive was faced with the following: an inadequate sewer system, no completion certificate, no fire certificate, and a 40-page document with works to be completed. I've been working with the central executive to have the building completed so that the association can move in. However, there have been setbacks. In January 2020, the contractor stopped the work, citing a lack of funds to complete the project. He eventually acquired funds and committed to begin the work at the end of March. However, on the 14th of March, the country was shut down because of COVID-19. Work did not restart in the administrative center until July 2020. On a recent site visit, it was discovered that water has been seeping up through the floor in the conference room of the building. This situation and others are being addressed at this time by the contractor. We hope sincerely that the building will be completed and ready for occupancy by March 2021. Negotiations. These are outstanding, and I will speak to the issue of salary negotiations first. With respect to salary negotiations for the period 2014 to 2017, TTUTA met with the Chief Personnel Officer in January 2019, and both parties agreed to conduct the salary survey. TTUTA's role was to conduct its own research and meet with the officials of the personnel department, and then develop the optimal salary line, which would form the basis of salary negotiations. Usually, TTUTA hires someone to conduct the research, and such a person was hired in January 2020. Despite the circumstances created by COVID-19 restrictions, the researcher was able to complete the data collection task by July 2020. Comrades, it must be noted that in October 2019, the Joint Trade Union Movement, JTUM, wrote to the Minister of Finance about unsettled salary negotiations for periods as far back as 2013 for some unions. When TTUTA's data collection process was completed, it was found that no negotiations had been concluded for the public service for the similar period. However, the public service provides only one job, which was to be used as a comparator in TTUTA's market survey. Concomitantly, two other jobs, which were previously agreed upon for use by TTUTA and the CPU, could no longer be used as comparators because the jobs had changed. Discussions with the CPU on the salary survey is almost complete and should be finished by mid-January 2021. When this is completed, TTUTA then hopes to engage the CPU in an effort to finalize salaries for teachers for the period October 1st, 2014 to September 30th, 2017. TUTA is yet to develop proposals for the period October 1st, 2017 to September 30th, 2020. This will be done in the new year. Notwithstanding all of the information that has been floating about, the union will have to utilize certain analytical models and conduct a thorough pestle analysis if it is to achieve any advantages for educators in this contracted economic climate. As far as negotiations for non-salary items go, those proposals were submitted in 2015 by the then second Vice President, Mr. Lindsay Durai. In 2020, the Chief Personnel Officer sent responses to those non-salary items. TUTA is in the process of reviewing the responses and preparing its own data in order to treat with the non-salary items which were previously proposed for the period 2014-2017. I turn to technical teacher training. The teacher training wing of the John Donaldson Technical Institute has been closed. As a result, many technical vocational teachers have not been able to access any teacher training. Although the Metal Industries Company, MIC, had been offering training to these teachers, it was not accepted by the Ministry of Education nor the Office of the CPU. TUTA is pleased to announce today that following discussions with the CPU, the technical teacher training program done by MIC is now accepted as the official teacher training program for technical vocational teachers. It is expected, therefore, that all persons who successfully completed that program will now be upgraded to TVT3 or TVT4, respectively. Continuing with teacher upgrades, the decision to close the teachers' colleges and introduce a degree program for teachers in Trinidad and Tobago continues to have a negative impact on some teachers even now. TUTA has sought to resolve these issues in many ways, but to date, we still have some persons who have been awaiting upgrade for more than 10 years. TUTA has proposed to both the ministry and the personnel department the following solutions. Upgrade those teachers from the 2010 to 2013 cohorts to the position of Teacher 1 Primary in the primary school, using a combination of their qualifications and their years teaching at that level. The Ministry of Education and the CPU still have to respond to our proposal. Similarly, upgrade of USC and Roytech graduates. The association intervened when the Ministry of Education began demanding that teachers do additional courses for their degree program in order to be upgraded to the position of Teacher 1. Following discussions with the CPU, a comprehensive list has been developed which would see many teachers from these institutions upgraded in the new year. Additionally, TUTA has now engaged a lawyer to address these long-standing issues of upgrade of educators. On the matter of confirmation of teachers' comrades, there are hundreds of teachers who have not yet gotten their medical examinations, some going as far back as 20 years. The association intervened and started to collect the names of persons so affected, and we have been submitting these names to the Ministry of Education. As a result, the Ministry of Education began sending persons for their medical examinations. However, with the restrictions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, this process was suspended. The association will continue, therefore, to advocate for the swift processing of these medical examinations. Comrades, the matter of increments is always a contentious one, and the association is totally dissatisfied with the slow process and the almost non-existence of payment of increment arrears. This cannot continue, and we signal to our members that serious action will be forthcoming in the new year. Now, on a related note, TTUTA is immensely dissatisfied with the lack of respect and cooperation by some officials of the Ministry of Education when it comes to dealing with educators' issues in an expeditious manner. The union pledges a changed approach in the new year. In terms of technical teacher educators, TTUTA is happy to announce that the variation order has finally been approved and these educators will be compensated. This is as a result of anomalies caused by the job evaluation done since 2002. To our guidance officers and curriculum officers in Tobago, the association intervened on behalf of these members who were not scheduled as traveling officers and were not being paid any of the benefits of a traveling officer. The CPO indicated that he would advise the Division of Education, Innovation and Energy that they must apply to have these positions scheduled so the officers could receive the benefits due to the variation order has finally been approved and these educators will be compensated. This is as a result of anomalies caused by the job evaluation done since 2002. To our guidance officers and curriculum officers in Tobago, the association intervened on behalf of these members who were not scheduled as traveling officers and were not being paid any of the benefits of a traveling officer. The CPO indicated that he would advise the Division of Education, Innovation and Energy that they must apply to have these positions scheduled so the officers could receive the benefits due to them. Our Tobago officer, Mr. Braden Roberts, will continue to pursue this matter. Transition arrangements. The association has agreed with the Chief Personnel Officer that a new transition arrangement must be signed and that it will take place before the end of the year. This arrangement will continue until December 31st, 2021. The association and the CPO have agreed to work with the Ministry of Education to ensure that appropriate opportunities are created for all persons to access the diploma in education, thereby ending the need for the transition arrangements for all secondary educators. Occasional leave for supervisors. The CPO has accepted that the members of the teaching service are entitled to occasional leave, but he wants to meet with the Ministry of Education to discuss the matter of occasional leave for school supervisors before making any further pronouncements. The interim allowance for school supervisors in Tobago. Again, and thankfully, the CPO has agreed to communicate with the Division of Education, Innovation and Energy in Tobago to ensure that the allowance and all arrears are paid to these officers in a timely manner. The salary anomaly that exists on the promotion of persons, the heads and deans in secondary schools. The CPO has agreed that teachers who are promoted and receive less than an increment in salary increase are entitled to at least an immediate increment as stipulated in the regulations. Action will be taken to have this rectified immediately to ensure that all teachers benefit when promoted. Finally, the new school term. The association notes that the Prime Minister announced that there will be a hybrid reopening of school in January 2021. TTUTA is assiduously engaging all of its education committees in developing a position paper on the reopening of schools for 2021. Rest assured that the policy document will serve as a guide to all our members on how they should operate during the new school term. The association has sought feedback from all of its members in all education sectors, and their views and perspectives will be reflected in that document. Comrades, in conclusion, the year 2020 was hard. However, TTUTA congratulates the teaching fraternity and all educators at the ECCE, primary and secondary level, our principals, our school supervisors, our school social workers, our special educators, our curriculum officers, our guidance officers. Thank you for your commitment and dedication, and congratulations on a job well done during this term. You stepped up when the country needed you the most, and you delivered. The association assures you that the fight for social justice and the rights of teachers will continue in the new year. I wish all of you a safe and holy Christmas season, and may we have a successful 2021, physically, mentally, and financially. God's richest blessings to you.